Now, it's not poverty that's the problem, it's the poverty of expectations. The Chief Inspector of Schools in England says many places simply aren't aiming high enough. Whilst Michael Wilshire's report shows surprising improvements for many inner-city schools, it's a very different story for many in affluent areas, where pupils from a white background don't seem to be doing as well as they should. Our North of England correspondent Kieran Jenkins reports.
It's a question the government has thrown billions of pounds at. Why do children from poor backgrounds do worse at school? Well, they don't necessarily, not according to England's Chief Inspector of Schools. Launching Ofsted's annual report earlier, he said this.
Poverty is no longer an automatic predictor of failure. There are poor children who are doing much better in schools across the country. Poverty is no longer an excuse for poor performance.
So why has this group chosen jealousy over envy as a key attribute to Othello's downfall?
In this school in Wythenshawe, South Manchester, 6 in 10 children are from deprived backgrounds. If poverty were an excuse, they'd have a pretty good one. But the Chief Inspector says poor families are held back not by poverty itself, but by a poverty of aspiration. But there's no sign of that here.
Oh, you need to go to university and get good qualifications.
Do other people in your family go to university?
No.
Did your mum and dad go to university?
No.
My dad's a builder and my mum's a cleaner, but they help me with my work at times, and that makes me concentrate more in school as well.
Why do you think you might like to be a teacher?
Because I like working with children, and I feel like I like doing it because I've really took inspiration from my teacher now.
The verdict from Ofsted is that there are signs of improvement in schools. Nearly 8 in 10 are now judged good or better, the highest since Ofsted was founded. But there are wide regional variations. Areas singled out for praise include London and the North West. But Ofsted says nearly 250,000 pupils are attending inadequate schools. In the east of England, for example, children have one of the lowest chances of attending a school rated good or outstanding. The message from the school inspectorate is that potluck, the postcode lottery, might have just as much influence on your child's education as something as fundamental as poverty. What else is to blame? Well, it's the familiar refrain from Ofsted: too much ill discipline in the classroom, too much mediocre teaching. But most of all, Ofsted says, some children simply don't show enough ambition, particularly in deprived, predominantly white areas. It's a challenge this school has overcome. It's rated outstanding.
There is a lack of aspiration in terms of what parents have experienced themselves. If there's not that expectation in school, and if you're not able to show them what is possible, both for their children and themselves, then they don't know.
So you're having to encourage that aspiration, that ambition, not only with the children, but with the parents as well.
Yes. So that it is a sort of community aspiration.
For some, though, poverty is the biggest challenge in education, and it can't be ignored.
Michael Wilshire is dismissing a raft of evidence, not just in the UK, but also internationally, that shows that yes, schools can make a difference and they play an important role, but we can't overcome inequality without focusing on material income and inequality and poverty faced by children and families.
No matter what pupils' backgrounds, Ofsted says England's schools must improve, even as many are doing better than ever before. Kieran Jenkins, Channel 4 News, Manchester.